Welcome to the Mobile Home Friend YouTube channel. I am Charles Odell, and this is your primary resource for everything manufactured housing. Whether you are tackling a full remodel like the one you see here, or just looking for honest advice on repairs and financing, we provide the data and technical deep dives you need to succeed. Our mission is simple: to help you save money and improve your home through first principles logic and transparent cost breakdowns. For the full technical guides and even more resources, visit us at mobilehomefriend.com.
Welcome to another deep dive from Mobile Home Friend. Today, we are looking at mobile home foundations, based on our latest research at mobilehomefriend.com. And believe me, this is one of those topics where getting it right from the start is an absolute game changer.
So let's just jump right in with this quote. This isn't just a catchy line. It's pretty much the golden rule of owning a mobile home. I mean, think about it. You can have the most gorgeous home, but if that foundation starts to fail, your whole investment is, well, literally sinking. It is the one decision that supports everything else.
And hey, this isn't some theoretical problem. We've seen this in the real world. We've been on properties where the house has settled so badly, the front door won't even lock anymore. So this isn't just about looks, right? It's about security, safety, and the real-world health of your home. This is knowledge that comes from years of seeing what works and what really doesn't.
So what is the actual engineering challenge here? Well, it all comes down to how the weight is handled. A traditional site-built house spreads its weight out nice and even. But a manufactured home, it focuses all that weight onto these huge steel I-beams. That creates these intense pressure points, what engineers call point loads. If your foundation isn't built to handle those specific points, the whole frame can start to bend. And that's when you see those awful signs, like cracks crawling up the drywall or windows that are just jammed shut.
You know, when you build a foundation, you're really fighting against two big forces of nature. The first is pretty simple: soil compression. Just imagine soft, wet ground just kind of giving up under the massive weight of your home, causing it to sink unevenly. But the second one, especially if you live up north, is frost heave. And this is just incredible. The sheer power of frozen, expanding ground can literally lift a 20,000-pound home right up, causing some really catastrophic damage.
And that is precisely why building codes are so important. To fight these forces, your foundation has to be built to very specific standards, especially when it comes to something called the frost line. That's how deep your footings need to go to get below the point where the ground freezes. And I just can't stress this enough. Always get a permit for your foundation. It's not just red tape, it's what protects your entire investment.
Okay, so keeping those challenges in mind, what are your actual options? Let's just do a quick breakdown of the three main types. First, you've got your classic pier and beam, which is by far the most common and the most friendly to your budget. Then you can step up to a concrete slab, which gives you way better stability. And finally, you've got the basement, which is kind of the ultimate upgrade if you're looking to maximize your value and your space. Now, if you're looking for our top recommendation, and we say this on the Mobile Home Friend website too, it's usually the reinforced concrete slab. For most folks, it just hits that perfect sweet spot between cost, long-term stability, and just plain peace of mind.
All right, so now let's really get into the weeds on each of these. We're going to start with the one you'll see most often out in the wild, the pier and beam foundation.
There's a good reason pier and beam systems are everywhere. They're fast to install, they're affordable, and they get the job done. But, and this is a big but, there are definitely trade-offs. Over time, those piers can settle into the ground, which means your home is going to need to be re-leveled. And you have to keep an eye on any steel jacks, especially if you're in a humid area, because they absolutely can rust out and fail.
And here's something that is so critical but often gets overlooked. The piers, they only hold the house up. They do nothing to hold it down. That's the job of your tie-downs. You absolutely need these ground anchors to keep the home from shifting or, even worse, flipping over in seriously high winds. They are not optional. Okay, ready to take a big step up in terms of quality and just sheer durability? Let's talk about concrete slab foundations.
A concrete slab gives your home one solid, continuous base to sit on. So right away, that risk of sinking and settling, it's pretty much gone. It also creates this amazing moisture barrier between the ground and your home, which is a massive plus. The only real downside here is that initial cost. It is more of an investment up front than a simple pier system.
And before we jump to basements, I just want to double down on that moisture barrier point for a second, because it's a true game changer. Underbelly rot is one of the biggest killers of manufactured homes. A slab foundation basically eliminates that threat entirely. It protects the very bones of your home, making sure it lasts for years and years.
All right, now for the gold standard of foundations, the full basement. Honestly, this is so much more than a foundation. It's a total transformation. It basically turns your manufactured home into a property that banks and appraisers see as a traditional site-built house. You can literally double your living space, you get a huge bump in resale value, and it opens the door to much better financing options like FHA and VA loans.
But before you start drawing up plans for a new game room, hold on. There's a really crucial technical detail you have to understand. You can't just put any manufactured home on top of a basement. It all comes down to how the home was engineered from the start.
That's because most mobile homes are frame-loaded, which means all the weight is designed to sit on that steel frame we talked about earlier. To put a home on a basement, you need what's called a perimeter-loaded model. In those homes, the outside walls are actually built to carry the weight. It's a really key difference, and if you want the full technical breakdown, we've got a whole guide on this over at mobilehomefriend.com.
So let's get down to brass tacks. What does all this actually cost? This chart really lays it all out for you. You can see from our 2026 estimates that a pier system is obviously your most affordable way in, but when you look at a slab or a basement, you're not just spending money. You're making a long-term investment that can pay you back big time down the road.
Speaking of paying you back, let's zoom in on one number from our research that really just blew us away. 40%. What is that? 40% is the potential increase in resale value you could see with a basement foundation compared to the exact same model sitting on piers. It's just a stunning example of how the right foundation can turn your home from a depreciating asset into a serious investment. So now that you know the options, let's get you ready with what to look for when you're on site.
So how do you spot a good foundation or a bad one? Well, here's a quick checklist of what our experts always look for. We check for any standing water, which is a huge red flag for drainage problems. We look at pier spacing, and we inspect the concrete for something called spalling. That's when the surface starts to flake and chip away. It's a clear sign of moisture damage and decay.
But you know what? Here's the easiest and maybe the most powerful test you can do yourself. Just check the doors. Go inside and try to open and close all the interior doors. If they stick, or if they don't latch properly, that is a huge telltale sign that the foundation is probably already shifted. It's such a simple check that can save you from a mountain of future problems.
So what's the big takeaway here? Well, choosing a foundation is really a decision about the future of your property. Are you just in it for a quick flip? A pier system might be fine. But if you're building a long-term home, a place you want to be safe and grow in value, investing in a slab or a basement is one of the smartest moves you can make. It's an upfront cost that will absolutely save you thousands in repairs and headaches down the line.
Thanks for watching. For more guides and the full article on this topic, head over to mobilehomefriend.com. Don't forget to check the links in the description below.
Thanks for watching. For more technical guides on this topic, click the link to see the in-depth article over at mobilehomefriend.com. There are many more informational dives into manufactured home topics to investigate and keep your project moving forward.